Hey YouTube. Um, I'm sitting here watching videos and I think, hold on, I'm checking the name. 2T, yeah. Hold on, sure. Okay, I'm checking the name. I go on leafly.com because it's just interesting reading. So, yeah. Okay. Anyway, me and Tutti Frutti are chilling, and you can go to leafly.com if you're lost when it comes to what I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna blow my bonding time with Tutti, okay? So I'm just sitting around, kicking it. I was watching Loved in the Classroom. This Putin speech is really good. It's my third time watching it. It goes against everything that they're pumping in the mainstream media. But this is what I want to share with y'all. I watched this before I went to bed. And we know this is a clip from the movie Avatar, which I have to reserve at the library.
Hello and welcome. After watching the popular video There Are No Forests in Flat Earth, I felt like something was off with this thing. Even no reason was suggested for the destruction of the supposed giant trees. The implication linking it to massive mining was there, and that didn't make any sense to me at all. Although plenty of popular Flat Earth channels picked up this video, not one of them made the connection to the spiritual importance of trees that played for humanity all throughout history. Examples are too numerous, so I will only mention a couple and leave it to the viewer to research the matter further independently. Beginning in the Far East, the oldest historic moment where a tree was significant and a spiritual connection was in 588 BC in what is today India. Buddha Gautama reached enlightenment after meditating for 49 days under a Bodhi tree. It was destroyed by persecutors of Buddhists several times, but replanted over and over. In the West, people were not that lucky. When the psychopathic mass murderer Christopher Columbus made landfall in what is today San Salvador Island in Bahamas, the satanic parasites who had hijacked Christianity under the label of the Catholic Church had been busy for hundreds of years with the destruction of entire cultures in the most vile and violent manner for sheer greed of money and power. The second case I want to present is known as Thor's Oak. It took place in Germany in 723 AD. Determined to subjugate whoever they deemed to be easy victims, the zealots of the time did so in fanatical manner, as they forced their belief on others through violence, ignorance, and destruction. Tacitus, Rome's most famous historian of the time, said, "The Germans, however, did not consider it consistent with the grandeur of celestial beings to confine the gods within walls, or to liken them to the form of any human countenance. They consecrate woods and groves, and they apply the names of the deities to that hidden presence which is only seen by the eye of reverence. The maniac Catholic missionaries would have none of it. In 723, a Christian missionary by the name of Winfrid cut down an oak tree sacred to the god Thor in the town of Geismar in Germany. The oak tree was the community place of worship, and the wood of the tree is said to have been used to build a chapel, indicating that it was a rather big or large tree. The depiction and story is that Winfrid went to cut down the giant tree all by himself, and then the clueless pagans dropped to their knees in awe and surrendered to the Christian god immediately. Supposedly this was followed immediately by numerous baptisms. Now let's have a quick look at what really happened. On May 15, 719 AD, Pope Gregor gave Winfrid his new name Boniface and special protection by the Vatican. By November 722, Gregor bestowed on Boniface the unprecedented title of missionary bishop for Germania. The following year, he had made his way into the Bührerburg, the biggest military base in Hessen, a castle where tank armor was produced. From here, he planned and executed his act of destruction and propaganda. Under the protection of heavily armed soldiers, he went to bring down Thor's oak. Those who underwent baptism there were given a free shirt. These crisis actors were rewarded instantly. This totally staged event is said to have marked the beginning of Christianity of the Germanic people. But the devil never sleeps, and so once all the sheep had been brainwashed by the satanic cult of the Catholic Church, they were taught to celebrate the birth of their new Savior, Jesus Christ, each year by killing a tree. The cultures of the Germanic and Nordic people had been rich in celebrations of the divine evident in nature, and they did not want to let go of this. The satanic Roman Catholic Church then resorted to Christianize these ceremonies by changing their dates and meanings. The Christmas tree came from what was once the May tree, a fest on the 1st of May that featured setting a tree at the center of town. This was a spring ritual signifying the pairing of young couples. In this time lapse, we can see the setting of a May tree in Austria as recent as 2016. This shows how deep-rooted the culture of the indigenous people of Europe is.
All credit goes to the author. This is on the last relevant stage. Go over and share and like her page. Share, like, and subscribe.
Right up till today. Just as many other traditions are still celebrated today, from countries as Holland, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and Finland. After many hundreds of years, the Germanic and Nordic cultures had an organic relationship with the world as they acknowledged the divine in nature in their celebrations, rites, and rituals by giving offerings and sacrifice of incense, food, and drink. The ignorant Christians had always referred to them as pagans or heathens, but their proper name was Asatru. They had come a long way, preserving their culture and way of life, having defended it successfully against the Roman Empire over 700 years earlier. The Asatru had no need for the 10 Commandments that the Jewish sorcerer Moses had introduced. They had their own code of conduct, the 9 noble virtues: courage, truth, honor, fidelity, discipline, hospitality, self-reliance, industriousness, and perseverance. which did not sit right with the satanic cult of the Roman Catholic Church. Especially self-reliance was a thorn in their side. Christianity was the earliest stage of globalism, forcing a one-God religion and a Christ figure that had to be relied on in order to attain salvation. The Christian God had always been promoted as something detached, presiding in what was called heaven, or a paradise to be reached after death. The ceremonies of the Asatru gave reverence to the divine, present and evident in nature, and being organically connected to it, they received eyes to see.
Great. Now this is when they were chopping down this tree. Watch what happens. Let's see. I think that's going to stretch it too big.
The mighty oak, its majesty once held in reverence, now seems little more than an obstacle needing to be cleared. The respect it once commanded is disappearing, along with the respect and pride its homeland once enjoyed. Europe, what has become of you? The ground shook as the mighty oak hit the earth. The sound echoed darkly across the land. From no one knows where, two horses appeared, seemingly wild and free. They wore an air of magic about them. They were not scared off by the Dayglow army or the chainsaws wailing like crazy banshees. Maybe they knew these trees. Maybe they had sheltered beneath them. Their concern was unmistakable. They made their way to the dying root of the mighty oak. An omen, an echo from the past. Our ancestors worshipped trees. They understood their supreme importance. How many of us have forgotten how much we have lost? How few still are aware that the tree has a spirit? Continuing his never-ending crusade.
Peace and power, y'all.